It's a beautiful Friday morning in the city of Lagos, southwest Nigeria. My name is Damlola Okunshaki, and this morning I'll be reviewing the front pages of the dailies and also analyzing them. And of course, this morning I'm starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with insecurity evolved, assumed other dimensions as coming from BUHARI. It directs service chiefs to take fight against terrorism to other parts of Nigeria. Says no terrorist can threaten Nigeria's sovereignty. Restates commitment to free, fair, peaceful polls. And you can see that on page 7. We have a photo story here that with the writer says APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Tinubu on his return from the United Kingdom yesterday evening at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. On page 5, we have 2023 insecurity, manpower challenges, threat to credible polls. That's coming from YAKUBU. Date we have 23 Abuja-Kaduna train attack victims. We can't disclose details of release. That's coming from DHQ. Travelers growth as more foreign airlines introduce restrictions. Federal government versus ARASE. Appeal court differs ruling till today. Benue records 2,248 new measles cases, new variant of polio. Eid al-Maulud, federal government declares Monday public holiday. You can see that on page 11. On page 6, we have over 30 women, children fleeing from terrorists drowned in Zamfara. Kogi moves to recover Obajano Cement Company. Tinubu arrives Nigeria as governors, NWC, PCC gear up for campaigns. 2023, those who mismanage economy using hunger as weapon. That's coming from Northern Christian Association of Nigeria. And lastly, on the front page of Vanguard, we have high interest rates push pension funds to corporate bonds. You can see that on page 19. Away from there, we move to the Guardian newspaper. And of course, the Guardian this morning is leading with Tinubu returns, Obi in Harvard. PDP seeks urgent solution to crisis. Tinubu to address APC campaign crisis. Rivers Assembly recognizes Atiku's ally, Omeya, as former governor. Atiku will win by 7 million vote margin, Ayu boast. Despite multiple checkpoints in same route, many travel in, out of Nigeria illegally. You can see that on pages 4 and 5. On page 6, we have appeal court to rule today as federal government, ASU, failed to reach out of court settlement. And lastly, on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, we have federal government blames fuel crisis on flood amid new regulations, and you can see that on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. And away from there, let's move to the Nation newspaper. The Nation this morning is leading with BUHARI to military, replicator Northeast feat nationwide. President visits rescue train passengers. Train services on Abuja-Kaduna route return soon. You can see that on page 4. And we also have the photo story showing Tinubu. It says, I'm happy to be back, says Tinubu. Now, Redeemer is Nigeria's best private varsity. Aisha Buhari Wike for conference. You can see that on page 27. Stories above, we have Lai Mohammed, PDP clash over corruption claim. Lastly, on the front page of the Nation, we have Ethiopia suspends visa on arrival policy. You can see that on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. And lastly, let's move to the Punch. The Punch this morning is leading with PDP crisis. Aggrieved governors report Atiku to BOT. List peace conditions. Ex-Vice President reneged on post-primary promise to BK and London deal. That's according to Socks. That's coming from a source here. BK moves against Atiku's ally, the list Omeya as ex-governor. Atiku will shock Nigerians, win with 7 million vote margin. PDP boast on page 43. And we're also seeing the photo story of Tinubu as he returns from UK and prepares for campaigns. Ogun tanker chased by miscreants explodes, 3 killed and 12 vehicles burnt. Abuja petrol scarcity persists. Federal government blames Kogi flood. Ogun monarch allegedly blinds a trader for dancing with queen. You can see that on pages 4 and 5. Stories above, we have call throughs on ASU's appeal out of court settlement fails. A 2-year-old French writer wins a Nobel Prize in Literature. And lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have budgets. Reps justify 8.4 trillion naira borrowing, 6.3 trillion naira debt servicing. And you can see that on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of dailies this morning. Join us after the break with our guest. All right, welcome back. If you are just joining me, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. I'm Damilola Okunshakin. Joining me to analyze the front pages of dailies this morning is Mr. Mayowa Okundari. He is the publisher of Global Financial Digest. Good morning, Mr. Mayowa.
Good morning, and glad to be here today.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. All right, let's move straight to the front pages. Now, former Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, and the Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, yesterday identified insecurity and insufficient manpower as some of the challenges threatening the 2023 general polls, and urged the synergy among stakeholders to overcome them. What do you think about these things that is just saying?
Thank you very much. I think it's very clear and obvious for us to know that 2023 election is a critical moment in the life of Nigeria, and also we have to, in the light of what we are going through as a nation in terms of insecurity. We know that our security personnel will be overstressed, definitely, especially the police force who are supposed to be the that are in charge of providing security for the election this month. They are going to be overstressed because unlike when we have off election where they are deployed 30,000, 6,000 personnel to provide security, like Yoshun, Ekiti, and the rest. Now we have nationwide election going simultaneously across the state of the federation, 34 local governments and the multiple locations. How are they going to get the personnel to cover this large spans of land and locations to provide security? And thirdly, we know that the election is critical in that the contestants are critical. The 4 major contestants and their supporters are very upbeat in ensuring their candidate wins the election. So many of them are resort to under the tables activities that will jeopardize security, that will jeopardize the success of the election. So I think they are right in terms of security. I think they are right in alerting also that the government and institutions are in charge of election to brace it up to ensure that we have full coverage in terms of security to protect the electorate, I mean the voters, the officials of INEC, and other people are involved in the election monitoring, so that we won't have a breakdown of law and order during the election.
Mm-hmm. All right, President Muhammadu Buhari lamented that though his administration has recorded successes in the war against insecurity, and he said that challenges have evolved and assumed other dimensions in some areas. Can we really say this administration really succeeded, in this insecurity fight in some areas?
Yes and no. It depends on who is analyzing the whole thing. It depends on the side of the divide you belong to. And the president is saying what he expects. What he expects to say to the people who are elected in the past 7+ years, and like giving a account of his stewardship. But the reality on the ground is a different thing altogether. And the people in the northeast, in the critical area in Zamfara, where in the Benue, in Plateau, even in those areas, in the west, in the southeast, where people are prevented from going to work, sit at home on every Monday of the week, who say the same thing as the president is saying. So that the evidence of this country is very glaring to everybody. Not many of us will want to travel on our road to any part of this country today as a result of insecurity. And this situation was not there in 2015. So in sincerely, when we look at the whole issue, we know that this government has some measure up. Even though in the last couple of weeks, they have stepped up action against insecurity. But those actions are still not enough to curtail insecurity across the nation. People are still living in fear, and we are seeing many people have died through insecurity in this country. Many farmers cannot go to their farm, and that's what leading to the increased skyrocketing price of food across the nation. So then the president might say, yes, he has done much, but his effort is not good enough for this country. He has not really fulfilled its electoral promise that will keep this country safe. His country has expanded across the nation, and many people many people as people they have one eye closed. So we say the government has not really succeeded in containing insecurity in the last 7+ years in government.
It says he also said that no terrorist can threaten Nigeria's sovereignty. Can we say that now?
If you say no terrorist can threaten Nigeria's sovereignty, they already put us in challenge. They have put our armed forces in a serious task. They have killed many of our soldiers, many of our people who are fighting the battle. They have succeeded in containing the movement of Nigerian, freedom of Nigerian from moving from one place or the other in this country. They have dislocated many Nigerians. They are taking over some part of the country. They are taking over part of the territory of this country in the northeast, even in the north center. In Kaduna, for example, they still have some places where the bandits or the terrorists are the one occupying the space and collecting taxes from people. So what else do you expect in terms of sovereignty? They have established sovereignty within sovereignty. That's what we are witnessing today. So the president probably is not aware or is not facing the reality on the ground. The security in this country today has threatened our sovereignty as the nation because we are not able to secure all our territory. We're not able to bring all our people into one fold where they will not be afraid to travel, to move from one point to the other, to live in their own ancestral home. In some part of the northeast, we are seeing in the Borno state, for example, we are seeing some state towns that are being taken over by terrorists, BUHARI and Swap, and people cannot return back to their ancestral home. So why are you talking about sovereignty? So the government is not facing reality. That's me.
But do you think this upcoming election there will actually be free, fair, and peaceful poll? Because he said they are committed to it.
Yes, it's a different thing from mounting it or saying you are committed to a cause. But the reality of it, like I analyzed earlier, what is the size of our police personnel to security across the country? Well, soldiers, their capacity to contain violence, to contain people who want to disrupt the election. So for me, it's and there are some part of this country that the people cannot, lawfully go and vote because of the security. They can't go out. In part of this, not this where the insurgents, the Boko Haram are still holding sway. We can't say people will be willing to go and vote because of the danger to their lives. The same thing in the southwest when the IPOB and the rest are threatening that there shall be no election in the southeast. So those are the areas we are not uncertainty in those areas. We cannot say categorically that the election we going to hold in that place, in those places. So for me, yes, President as the commander-in-chief may be saying this thing. But what is the capacity of our security agency to cover all this area to ensure that we have peaceful election? For me, I still have my doubts. Maybe the president has some strategy that put in place to ensure that they secure enough personnel to protect life and property. But again, like I said, based on the reality on the ground today, I have my doubts.
All right, still talking about 2023 election. APC's presidential candidate Tinubu is back to Nigeria, and I'm sure you saw the video yesterday. And people, rejoicing all over the country. Those, of course, his supporters. Now, what do you think about his return and some of the controversies that surrounded him for some days now?
For me, Tinubu back in Nigeria or not back in Nigeria should not be an issue in the first place. What should be the issue is that of transparency, of accountability, of openness. when he suddenly left the country, I remember when we want to leave Nigeria to US, it was announced that he's going for an award. For somebody who want to rule this country, we expect them to be open, to be clear, to be upfront with Nigeria. Tell us the truth. What is happening to their candidate? The man courageously left the country without any information about him. Nobody knows his whereabouts, but just in London. We have seen people posting pictures, old pictures of him and taking as a new one. So for me, we expect much more from APC, the ruling party president candidate, to be upfront with the people we want to rule. If at this level they cannot say the truth, we cannot know, we are still put on the uncertainty. We are put on a state of doubt concerning their truth to us. Then what will become if eventually he wins the election in 2023? For me, those are the issues we need to tackle. These are the issues we need to discuss about. It's not about moving. Anybody can move. Well, the president candidate have the right to move, to travel out, to do constitution and come back to this country. For me, these are imperative. These are not essential issues. As long as they travel, we know their routine, because they are potential leader of this country, and they are potential president of Nigeria in 2023. So we should know everything about them. There should not be secrecy about their movement, their whereabouts, what they are doing outside that place. We have had rumors that he was sick, and they are trying to dispute it by posting pictures that people have disputed those pictures as being current pictures. So these are issues for me that people should engage in discussing, interrogating about the APC. If their activities and activities of their president candidates thrown in secrecy, then there's a question mark on their candidate, and people should be very wary of electing such people. For me, that's where I look at it, and I think APC should do more to begin to be open, come open, and come clean to people and tell us the status of their candidate and what we expect from him, rather than just coming back and making a fanfare. For me, is nothing to me. That's where I look at it.
But this is Nigeria. Do you think our politicians can really be open?
They should be. That's a minimum standard we should demand from them. The electorate, the voters should demand this from them, that we should have a clear picture of who our president candidates are and what are their intentions, what are their purpose, what are their plans for this country, what they intend to do for this country on the area of economy, on the area of security, on the area of education, for example. I've not seen any of them talking about ASU strike, 8 months of ASU strike. None of them have discussed to us what are their plan, how to end the strike, how to ensure that they prevent future occurrence of such strikes in this country. None of them have come out to this. These are issues which interrogate our president candidate of this political party, so that because they are potential president of Nigeria, and the more we know about them, the more we know about their programs, the more they are open to us, the more we are able to make an informed decision on our voting right, how to vote for. But probably they don't even believe that we have the right, or we literally have a major role to play in electing them. Maybe that's why they are going about that nonchalant and not care about the authority. And I think the awareness about 2023 is so high, especially among the youth, and so many of them will be disappointed come 2023. That means it's becoming very clear to me now.
All right. On 5th of October 2022, that's on Wednesday, the 23 remaining victims of Kaduna Abuja train attack were rescued, and some people have actually been asking the DHQ to release the details of their release, and of course they're saying that giving these details might actually subject the family to a fresh trauma. But let's talk about the release itself. What do you think about it after 6 months in terrorist captivity?
For me, the release of the remaining victims of the kidnapping is a welcome relief. It clarifies my heart. I'm very happy about it, regardless of how they were rescued. Even though it's coming very late, 6 months after that, but it's still something that they are back home. They're happy. They are put a hand to the trauma the families are facing. If you are not walking the shoe of those people or the families, you don't know the trauma those people have gone through, and whatever effort that resulted in their being released is, for me, is commendable. Is to me, we shouldn't bother ourselves on how the details of how they are released, whether the military invaded the camp, that they pay ransom, whatever they have and we are the uncertainty and the trauma being faced by these people. So I'm glad that whoever, either government, either whatever, has gone to ensure that they are released back to this place. I think the way forward is for us to encourage our military to ensure that never again shall we experience such incident in any part of this country where people can be innocent people who are on the journey back home on business trip are going to be attacked by terrorists and kidnapped and kept in their custody for 6 months. No, never again. That's the assurance we should demand from the armed forces rather than asking them to give all the details of how they were released. Those two details are immaterial to me as a person and to the family of those victims and to many Nigerians as well.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Mayo. But before we go, let's just look at Mr. and Mrs. And the first person speaking this morning is Mrs. She said, finish the food. Oh my God, this is good. You have not complained about my cooking for some times now. And Mr. replied, with the economic recession, every meal is delicious.
Yeah. He might say, wise man, if you complain about the food, he might have to bring more money so that there will be improvement. So he was so smart about the issue.
And the response is actually right on point.
Yes, I said it's a reflection of what is a contemporary issue to happen in our country today, and I kudos to the cartoonists. I look forward to read every day myself, and I read it and make a lot of laugh and comic of issue in Nigeria.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayo Hagudari, for this wonderful analysis.
Yeah, thanks for having me today.
Yes, and have a lovely weekend. All right, that's all we have for you on Today in the News. Now, to get more of our top stories, you can follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Our WhatsApp number is also displayed on your screen. And to get more of our top stories, you can visit our website, www.vanguardngr.com. My name is Damlola Okunshakin. Today is Friday. Please enjoy your weekend and also try to stay safe. Monday is public holiday, so enjoy your holiday too.